Let's go. Hey, first of all, Anya, thank you very much for organizing this. I know you've been nagging me and Bezo and everyone else to do this event for quite a while. So thank you very much. Thank for everyone that's here. I see a lot of people. I usually am a quiet person. People from Uno will tell you that I usually listen a lot, but today I'll try to talk more than I used to. We are Uno. I guess some of or a lot of people here must know us. Hopefully, we are from server 1096 on C5. We have been doing this for what now? 2 years? Yeah.
Yep.
It started in May 22, right?
Yes.
Yes. And it's been a long and fun journey. I guess fun is one of the aspects that defines our alliance a lot. People who have come play with us. Uh, in our side, obviously, have a lot of fun. Not our enemies, right? Hopefully.
Well, some of our enemies enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, we are pretty easygoing, and we certainly have a lot of fun and prioritize having fun in our team. So we have had a lot of people come and feel for us, and they can vouch for that. And well, it's been a pretty uh, rough ride, right? It's been two
Yeah.
years. We have gone through a lot, and I would like to say that I'm very proud of what we were able to do in those 2 years. We have gone from Bezo usually tells the story that he remembers me when I joined the game to obviously do puzzles, right? I think this must be come up in every one of these calls. The puzzles got me, but I usually take things very serious. And soon enough, I was K25, K30, and fighting, uh, doing what I could. And Bejo usually tells that he remembers me fetching Fenrir boxes from outside the Uno hive. I didn't start in Uno. I am from Brazil, by the way. And I remember when I started taking the game seriously, I would spam messages in the word chat to see if there were other Brazilians in the server and ask them to come to our little small Brazilian alliance we have in the 1096 at that time. I did got a few though. We started like that, but
Mhm.
as soon as things got serious, everyone which were playing serious started joining what is now our alliance, Uno. Didn't take long. I can say we were blessed because we were able in this server to build a great alliance, and that is not very common in Ebony because you have to have a little of luck to be able to start in a server where you have enough people with uh, focus and will to play and that get along well to be able to do what we did here. So I'm very proud of the team we have built and what we have accomplished in those 2 years. And I like our team very much, and I'm really happy about what we were able to do and what we were able to do. Right, in 2 years, we were the last four challenges. What did we do? We finished seven twice in a row. Then we finished the third, the season before the last one. Right, if I'm right.
Yep. Yep. 7, 7, third, and
Third,
sixth.
and this last one was really hard. We finished sixth. Well, it was even above our expectations, right? But we managed to do it, and it was
Yep.
great. It was great. So we have been working on the team. We have a lot of people always going to All Stars. And by the way, what's up with this last season? Well, everyone decided to grow in C5. It's really hard to get top 400 and top 200. What's gonna be like looking at 130 to get to for top 400, right?
Yeah, it's been increasing higher than most other continents.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've said I talk little, but I've talked a lot already. I maybe someone else can uh, take over from here, so the guys don't listen just to my voice.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, honestly, I think everyone started. Well, okay, I'll talk about most guys. Most guys started this game because they probably ran out of labels to read in the toilet, so they started playing with the puzzle. Um, After that, I think we all, started seeing that somebody else within the server was hitting bosses a little bit harder than you did. So you started doing the same thing. But then when SVS started showing up, or somebody was, doing K in a forced way, you started saying, "Hey, this is actually fun. You kill troops, they kill troops." So I think we all started in a kind of similar way.
Yeah.
But we are where we are, and we've gone through what we've gone through. And I think one thing that probably would be great to start mixing in the conversation is, why did we have the expectation not to do too well in the last Chalons? And I have no problem for you chipping in easy, or I can.
No, go ahead, man. As I said, I'm happy to let everyone speak. I'm
I
using
think.
Yeah, someone can.
Uh-huh.
conciliator and
I'm driving.
try to.
I can't see chat. I can't see chat. I'm driving. But if there's topics that people want to talk about as well in chat, if
Yeah,
someone can take a look at that.
most
Oh,
people most people in the chat, I've been paying attention, so thank you, but most people in the chat are basically saying "fuck res," and that's unfair. That's unfair.
everyone loves press. Come on.
So yeah, that's probably what the chat is filled right now with Grinch. Just an FYI. I mean, I can keep you up to date, but it's going to be pretty boring since they're going to be saying the same thing over and over.
All good. I'll be home in like 12 minutes anyway. I just needed to do this drive with my daughter.
Yeah, that
Don't
beautiful
worry.
voice you all are hearing is Grinch. He's our rally setter, and
Yeah.
that's the pleasure we have to hear while we try to kill everyone that faces us.
Yeah. So, um, okay. I don't know if you guys are aware, but and I guess most servers go through the same kind of pitfalls, where you're not sure how and what kind of rules you set in a server to ensure that you have as much as possible both alliance growth and server growth. Because frankly, it's so hard to fucking recruit that you have to find a way to train from within.
Yes.
And one of the aspects of why the team has grown is literally we see, or we have been seeing, everyone as a potential teammate, which is why I guess at times where a lot of other servers would have been burned, we've chosen to talk with people, which I know that drives most people crazy to try to make everyone make sense. But that's kind of what happened with us as well. We've been avoiding kill events, which in a consolidated server like us, which I think we can show somehow. We are a 290 billion alliance in 1096, and the second biggest alliance is 40 billion. The third one is like 20, and from then on is just
Yes.
very small alliances after that. So for us, kill event is nonsense. If you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Well, we did it a couple of times in the past, and it has helped us vent and that vent some frustrations, and that's part of server consolidation, right? We in the first year and a half, I would say, we had a lot of grievances to work on, and that obviously happens in every server. But as you were saying, we talked a lot with everyone, and thankfully things turned out for the best. We were able to work over that, and we bring most of the willing players and those that understood they had an opportunity to grow, and since we have a big alliance in our server, joined us, and they are part of the team today. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, I always voted for KE, as you know.
Okay.
To me, there's always a time and a place for that kind of thing. I think that there's always grievances, and if you don't want to play KE, you don't have to play, right? Use bubble, and yeah, we're not a Bob server, but during SVS, it's good practice to just stay bubbled if you don't want to play, kind of thing. That was always my take on it. I always lost the vote, which is cool. Every once in a while, like there was enough shit going on that I was happy, we got to play. And honestly, I didn't usually participate. I just always thought it was a good thing to have every once in a while, just to
Uh,
do that kind of thing outside of SVS. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on Katie.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, we know.
our setter always want to kill people. He's in the
Uh,
right. He has the right job.
the thing with him is he says that he didn't participate. That's exactly Grinch. He wants just to see the world to burn. That's what he wants. Sometimes he burns them himself, but sometimes he just like, yeah, that what makes more sense. Entertain me.
I follow the rules. I don't burn. I don't burn people. What are you talking
I know,
Yeah,
I know, I know.
yeah,
I know. We all know. But and that's the point. That's what I think. That's the point. We we have worked a lot with the opponents that we have within the server, and now we have kind of convert them, a lot of them, into PvP people. Some of them are still just playing recreationally, which is fine. They have the app on their phone. They can do whatever they want. Um, but most of the people that wanted to do PvP, they have realized that we are the right place for it. So, hence, we are a very, very consolidated server. We basically are, as I said, heaps bigger than every alliance below the biggest alliance. Then, in the events, typically, that's something that I guess most big alliances do. We do, I would say, pans. We do 42 to 47k
yeah.
scores.
We have been
Yeah,
doing 42 in the last few weeks, and when there's no shenanigans going around, we do 45 to 47, which is pretty great. And that's only possible if you do find a way to work around with your server, which we were just talking about. Because
yeah.
and we have gone through a war in the what was it? It ended 3 months ago, I think. It lasted for. It was before
4 months
the
it lasted. It lasted between
before
December and end of March. Yeah.
yeah, and that was that if you want to grow and you don't want to spend much, that's not the way to do it. But what is interesting about this is, just piling on the point you made, Besno, about we talking to people, is we've went through war for obviously what is I think the most common thing for war in all of Ebony service, which is fighting for monsters, and because obviously monsters is what fuel our growth. And during the war, we did something that we tried to do it. Not say we didn't do, but we tried to be civil about it. Um, we didn't make it toxic. Would you say? We always treated people we were fighting with respect and didn't try to cross that boundary too much. And again, to the point of you being able to uh, talk things through. We ended the war, and the people we were fighting with are now part of our team, and that's amazing. I'm really happy about that. That shows that not only can now everyone enjoys the growth of being able to kill every kind of monster in the map instead of you soloing it and forbidding like 70 to 100 people from taking the resources. Uh, we don't have that anymore. So everyone that we were fighting with are now our teammates and have been having a lot of fun together and growing together, and that was the best outcome we would learn from the war, and it happened in the end. It was amazing.
Agreed.
So,
Sorry, Boo. Were
Right.
you trying to
I
say
think
something?
Snow was trying to say something. In fact, Boo, I think fell off the. Oh, yeah. Let me try to invite her again somehow.
Yeah, maybe bring Nini. Bring Nini to the stage too. Is Nini here?
Boo, can you request? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there is Boo.
I saw
Oh,
Nini
somebody.
and
Wait.
Snow. I think Snow's on the stage. Snow might be able to just talk about what it was like joining at the phase that she joined at.
that's that's where I was going to pop in, because I will say that I joined Uno while they were in the middle of that civil war. I had been jumping around, and even when jumping into the server and filling for Uno, it was just for me it was an odd dynamic, having coming from toxic servers where that sort of thing was just ongoing nonstop for 2.5 years. And I saw the team acting in a way that was respectful. We were still having our disagreements, but they were still just so respectful about everybody else on the server. I was pretty shocked. But then I remember I had become a full-fledged member of Uno, and Easy proposing to the team, bringing it to the team, saying, "Hey guys, we're in these talks, and what do you think about the people that we were just actively fighting yesterday becoming, our team members?" Which I immediately said, "Hey, I know I'm new here, but my voice is, go of resentments and not let them poison the server. We should let go of resentments and not let them poison the server." And I have nothing but the utmost respect for the leadership team in Uno, for the fact that we don't live in that toxic non-stop cycle of just arguing and fighting. We're not perfect. There are people who want to argue and fight all the time, but we do such a good job of trying to address those wants and needs, and really hearing them out and saying, "Okay, but how does this impact everybody?"
Yeah.
That was my little soapbox. Sorry.
Yeah. No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Well,
I have so somebody has requested to speak. It's called C Mel. I will add him on right after I respond to a couple of questions from the chat, because I'm monitoring. The first one, which I have responded already. The first one was, do we send the kings to different alliances, or do we keep them within Uno? And I know the answer. The answer is that we do send them out. I don't remember if we did it because of the war, or at the time of the war, or before the war, but we have been doing it since we saw a video on YouTube.
yeah, that's crazy. Hijack alliance from what,
Yeah.
5 years? 5 years of
Yeah. So it wasn't because of the war, but we have decided as a team that Izaum is the only person R5 in Uno permanently.
Yeah.
So that's it really. But I don't remember if it did coincide with the war or not. That's right now my memory is fond. And the second question
it
is
was
from,
during the war, but it was not because of the war. It was because we saw that and
Yeah.
thought, okay, maybe we don't want to be playing around with R5, and all this effort we put through to get all these castles and this alliance science and get out. We should not risk that, and now
Yeah.
we use our sister alliance for that. So it has been working like that for 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, 150 capacity is expensive. We
Yeah.
can't risk that. The second one is, how do you pronounce beso?
Yeah, I saw Whoop asking that.
Yeah.
I think the
You-
answer is in the question that you just did.
No, I think the best pronunciation of beso was from him actually. So he pronounced it biso. Biso.
Really?
So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with biso.
Maga has been putting in a good question, actually a good purpose to talk about the subs and how we are helping people with it.
Oh yeah, well, we can talk a little about how we help our team. We don't have a lot of coiners, and we most of our team grows from the efforts we all put together to making them grow. We have guides for helping people develop their keeps, their generals, and everything. And we also share the resources we get. So every time we win Chalons or every time we win a sub in the sub event, we pass along the subs to the rest of the team and prioritize giving Japans to the people that are in rally team and prioritizing giving Russias to the people that are in the Portos team. And we have different roles to play in Battlefield. I think Annie asked us to talk about those too. We can talk about those in a bit. But Maga, we're talking about how we give, and especially nowadays that you can disassemble Japan keys and Russia keys to upgrade your own. We don't do that. Even when one of our big keeps win, we take that sub and pass to the rest of the team. We always do that, right? And that was the point that Maga made, Boo. I
Yes.
think it's right.
Yeah, we have not
Yeah.
converted a single gold in Japan, and we have all of them.
Yes. I think E-Town wants to speak. Did we brought him to stage?
He's here. He's here. He just needs to unmute himself.
Good afternoon, man. How you doing? Can you hear us? I think you're muted.
Yeah, he's muted. He's trying to talk, but he's muted.
This sounds like a work call.
But well, I don't. He doesn't work anymore, does he?
No. Dwayne,
No,
you have to click on the
Dwayne.
microphone.
Yeah,
So
it's if you
something that I
got.
noticed that we do differently than a lot of other servers that we've faced in SVS, we have a throne rotation based on wings,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
whereas we don't just overlord over everybody and say, nope, we're always going to be the king, whatever. It's rotation based on your SVS practice.
Yes, that's how we
That-
do it. And we
That's
are.
also,
whether
I'm sorry.
whether whether you practiced or the enemy practiced on you, you're still getting thrown.
I was going to say, I think that was the biggest surprise when I came to 1096 and I saw negative wings going on throne. I was like, wait, what just
Yeah,
happened? This is different.
yeah,
But I think having come from servers where throne is such a huge point of contention, and seeing people get on throne, I think it has lessened some of those tensions on our server because of the fact that uh, people, all they have to do is go out and try in earnest. I don't think we have any. I haven't witnessed any splatters since I've been with Uno, or at least purposeful splatters, let's say.
No, we have our permanent one, right? But let's not
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
We have a couple of permanent splatters for
Cap,
sure.
the
Um,
couple permanent.
But giving
Thankfully,
the
he got his throne before my game.
Just don't say their names out loud here because people will track them. You know.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, but
I want
yes. Well, I guess most servers have a Tron queue based on wings, and but some servers do look for positive and negatives. Well, we don't. It's just you get wings, you get a place in the queue. And one of the reasons that we don't care too much about negative points is because we like to fuck around in SBS a lot. That we take Battlefield pretty seriously, and it has shown. But well, SBS, no, we just like to have fun and fuck around. So would not make sense to require people to be positive to get to the Tron queue.
I think part of that too is that it's expensive for some people, right? With Soul and all that kind of stuff. And if they're just trying hard and they just run out, that's not, I don't know. It's easier for the smaller players, I think, to do it that way.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if you're positive, being positive is way cheaper on Soul because you need to be way more ready to do it. But that also means that if you try and be negative, you lost everything that you've accomplished. And since we really like to fuck around on SPS, there's no point in being this strict. We actually don't like to go too much high in SBS ranking, so we can fuck around and have servers that are willing to come around and play, because sometimes they don't, and we get frustrated because we like to play in SBS.
Yes.
So, Izzy, there's a question in the chat that says, has 1096 or the Uno server, when there's a throne truce agreement, had a server war where nobody participates except those players who have never had been top 5 in a server war before? So did you have a wingless weekend?
We have a couple of those, right?
No, more than.
Someone remind you had someone who wanted to speak as well.
Oh, E-Town.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
there was someone else who had asked that wanted to speak.
the guy
He left.
Okay, all right.
He probably accidentally hit the microphone. So when I told him his name, he left. So before we go to E-Town, let's address the question, and then we'll go to E-Town, and then more questions. Okay, the question is if we have had weekends where the bigs didn't play. In the beginning, before this, what do you call it, the miracle season, these weekends were really rare. We had one early on, and that fucking weekend created K on the back of that, because we said to them, we will not go for any more than 540 million, but we will go for the 540 million. And of course, when somebody got hit and it went to 700, they started crying all over World Chat, and it became a really big mess. So we called a KE so that this gets settled. And but it was still a weekend where people did get their wings eventually, because the bigs didn't play. And then the second one was when we had the top 10. So we decided as a team to literally all of us sit down. And if I remember correctly, in the top 10 weekend, we got something like 7 or 8 wings in one go.
Yeah.
So it's happened only twice before. And then when Miracle Season happened, it's been awesome. It's fucking awesome, because since Miracle Season, most of the bigs play, and we still have like at least 1 wing per time. And there was one Miracle Season with 4 wings.
I have 5. Oh, 4. Yeah, 4 new. And the first one, the first Miracle Season, we got 4 new wings, and every big played.
Yeah. So that's the question to 537 KMT. Now let's go to E-Town.
We can hear him.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
There you are.
And I'm not pushing on a mic or nothing. Listen. I just wanted to make a quick comment, and it's going back to the war. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was pretty impressed with the craftiness of our enemies. I didn't know about any of the underhanded crap they were going to pull to make us pull our hair out while we were, trying to be civil and do the right thing. Like porting into our hive and expelling us all out into God knows where. And it wasn't something I expected. I just expected toe to toe, fighting it out, and all that. But I developed a new appreciation for the Russians, man. They and Tad, for that matter. They just really, were like a burr under our saddle during that whole damn war. And I just wanted to throw that in. That's all.
Yeah, and they really fucked up Beverly Hills. We take very much pride in our hive layout. That was we call it the Beverly Hills. I think people must have read that in Nanya's announcement of the event. And what the hell are they talking about? Well, we take very much pride in our hive layout, and we had a very beautiful hive layout, names assigned, and we have reserved space for the bigs, and all the bigs lined up like that. What we call Beverly Hills, the part in the hive where all the bigs are there, make a beautiful line, and in comes the war. Okay, the bigs are scattered all over the fucking map. Everyone's sporting around like crazy, and that was infuriating. But
You remember who did we have the SVS in that event? Easy.
it was Risk, right? Was Risk server?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were fighting with Red Server and they were porting us all around. And I said, I'm not being ported. You reinforced me. I'm staying without the bubble. And I stayed without the bubble the whole 48 hours. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, that fucked up our hive layout, but then we adapted and we built a new hive layout protected by Sisters Alliance around us. So we still have Beverly Hills, just moved over the mountains a little to the north, but it's still there.
Right, but valuable lessons learned. I mean, the not relinquishing R5 position because of the risk that might be involved. All of that stuff was brought to the surface by our worthy enemies.
Yeah. Guys, we have a lot of questions actually. Let me,
Yeah,
if you don't
try
mind,
to
before we
get
go to the
them.
next topic, let's address a couple of questions quickly and then we can go back to the next questions. Yeah. So, so the
We're
first one,
talking about Miracle Season, right? How can you have? Yeah.
well, I'm a little bit before because I
Okay.
tried to keep from the first questions. Eliseth is asking, how do you all prepare for Battlefield? Is there any like practice that you guys do? You want to take that one, Easy or Boo or?
Well,
Hey.
you mean practice for maybe Grinch can answer this one. Come on, Grinch, we need to hear more of your beautiful voice, man.
I think we use BOG for the most part for practice, right?
Yeah.
When we're trying out
Yeah.
different things, BOG is taken less seriously at this point. So we usually have a smaller team as well, so we can try different things. It forces setters and callers and all that to kind of change up their strategy a bit when you don't have all the bigs with you, right? And so there's BOGs where we're scattered, and there's BOGs where we're hived, and things of that nature. So I think that's one really good way to do it if you don't take BOG super seriously. Before that, we were practicing in SVS, where we were just practicing around our hive, right, as far as setting and rallying and things of that nature. A lot of effort was put into how to read reports, and we can go into how we do our battlefield as well. Like what I think there were a lot of questions, at least on the agenda, about jobs and who does what and how we do it. We can go into that. But my answer would be, I think BOG is a great place to practice that. You get all your buffs, you get all the march sizes, you get all the things that come into play on the weekend versus FPS where you don't have all the same capabilities. So,
Yeah, and if I may add, last 2 off seasons in BOC, we also stood down for the most part bigs, so that there's only 1 or 2, of the bigs, like the setter usually, and somebody to call, and we left the rest of the team to play. So a lot of us didn't even play the whole season.
Yeah, and I think our way of doing the battlefield, like I set. I'm doing less reading of the reports and less calling. Like Easy's a great caller, Rez is a good caller. We have other people that are good callers on the team, so I'm focused on the mechanics of, where are the marches, how big are they getting, how many resources do we have in the marches, are people franking, are they healing, keeping an eye on mines and things of that nature, watching the other hives and making sure I understand who's doing the reinforcements, how fast are they, so if we do a fake or we do something of that nature.
You do all that, man? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I try. Well, but that's the point, right? Like I can't do everything. And so some people believe that the setter should be the caller. I don't think so. I think in any good, military exercise, you've got people that have specialized capabilities, and then communication becomes key, right? And we try to keep chatter to a minimum. We have people that are dedicated to portals and buildings. Usually the mid-sized players, the people that have been around a while, have organized a system of keeping track of portals and keeping, they assign numbers to portals and they know who's assigned to them and things of that nature.
Yeah, but I think I'm muted.
No, you're not.
Oops.
You're not muted.
I thought Besa was controlling my mic. I'm sorry. Damn it.
No,
might
no,
be.
no, no.
Well, now I
No,
need
no,
more.
no.
Anyway, so
Now I need
that's
more
how
technical skill because I don't know how to unmute myself.
You are okay. You now are muted. I didn't mute you for the record. You probably did it yourself.
that's kind of our approach to it. I don't know if there's any questions about that. I think that the biggest difference between some of the alliances is how they do the calling, frankly.
Yeah.
Versus the setting. I've had people say that, the setter should be the caller, and I don't know. I just think it's too much for one person to manage the entire map. Especially when you got people that can read reports quickly, right? Like that's a special skill too. So.
Yeah, usually I do spotting, looking for targets, call them to Green or Bezo to set, or Burns too. Burns usually set for us, Burnstone. I think you guys must know him too. And I look for targets and I yell at people. Yeah, yeah.
He
I
really
don't talk
does.
much here, but on Battlefield, I yell a lot.
Yeah. And we do a lot of work ahead of time around hive layout for the battlefield. We do a lot of work around reinforcement matrix, so we know who needs to be reinforced. We do a lot of work around making sure people understand how to communicate. We set up our Discord so that certain people's voices are overriding other people. We will mute people, right? If they're just talking too much, whatever. If they've had a couple drinks, who knows? That kind of stuff.
Well, may I say something?
Yes, of
Always.
course.
Please.
Always.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see the one. I want to say secrets, but of success of this alliance is laid quite brightly out because Easy is our leader, and we have been trying to not have, so to say, prima donnas who do everything and decide everything, but be really structured so that everybody really has, who wants to do a job, has a kind of job and sticks to it. So it's a real great collaboration between the whole hive, between the whole alliance, and that's what bands people together, that sticks together. And we have been during BOCs trying to be there as much as possible in order to understand what's going on and to understand who is able to do what according to our growth, and that has been discussed, and then people got their, so to say, positions or jobs to do, and that has been working really greatly, I must say. Even the thing which has been touched before regarding allowing people to be king of the server, that purpose is actually a good thing for not only for the alliance, because Uno is a big part of the king queue, of course, but also other alliances, and it's a job about 2 weeks, of course, so people have to connect and talk to each other, and that is what I think helped a lot to keep also the whole server in a certain point more and more aligned, and people got to know each other and talk to each other. It's
I
important.
agree. I agree. Guys, we have more questions. Shall we move to the? Okay.
I found the list of questions.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. So, okay, how was the wingless server agreed upon? 5:37 KMT. It wasn't really something we thought about it. We asked around. We always ask around the alliance who's going to play in the weekend. If most people say no, then we consider doing something like this. So there was one weekend back in the day where I think it was either Chalons finals or don't remember what it was, but it was something important. So we said, too much. Let's stay out, and most of us decided to do that. That's how it was really decided, and both the first and the second time. Okay, we have a player on our server who has taken KE personally and has begun to attack weaker players during NAP. Sorry, I'm that dad. Uh, I think the best way to deal with this is talk with that person, honestly. If they can't be talked, then unfortunately you'll have a pain in your backside for quite a while. Ideally, don't give them clout. What we have
Yeah.
done in the war before, we have actually blocked most of these people that were trying to talk and trying to have a voice and trying to,
And
mentally manipulate.
we're not talking about the people we were fighting with. There are other
Yeah.
people that like to steer things around and take part in those that matters that they don't have a say in, and those people you should, if they can be reasonable with, block them. Don't give them what they want to fuel their emotions. Block them, and eventually you get rid of it, right? That was we did, Bezu.
I agree. 100%. Most people were actually blocked from most of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we try more questions, or should we try to
I'm
go to the
looking
next
at
topic?
the event question. Let's take a little of the people are asking about bot farms. Well, we run our own thing, so maybe we should not go over that, but we have pretty high scores and make sure everyone can grow on our server. So, and we don't. We also, I think this is on topic. We also offer the opportunity to be in Uno for almost everyone in our server. We just don't take the bosses. We take the bosses and also offer the chance for everyone that wants to grow. Because if you want to kill bosses, that means you like the game somehow. And if you like the game somehow and want to grow, okay, come play with us, join us, and we will grow together. We give that opportunity to everyone that wants to do it. That goes along with it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What size does an allowance need to be to get 2 players? Well, it's getting harder and harder to get players into All Stars majors now. We are suffering a little bit in this season. I think we talked about that. Specific buff range for joining BOC? No, we don't. We still are not into that stage. What I can say you, and I think there was a question about this, is if you're not a coiner, we recommend our people to do. We have in our keep development guide the guides we do for the people in our alliance. If you, there's no point in trying to pursue percentage buffs if you'll not be able to get at a very high end. So we work even with flats for people that don't coin on attack generals, not only defense generals. That's one of the things that we do for part of our team. I think that helps a lot with a little with that question. Are you seeing
I
the
think
questions in the event log?
one more point is, we've always maintained the idea that every player has a value, right? In
Yes.
Battlefield, there's things for everybody to do no matter the size. So as long as they're serious and they show up and they don't mess up the strategy, meaning they don't take mines at the wrong times, they're paying attention to chat, they understand what we're doing. It doesn't matter how big you are, right? There's always something you can do. So
Yeah. And taking control and keeping control of buildings is very important, especially portals. So yeah, there's
I would say,
always
I think one of
yeah,
the things
I
I've
can't
enjoyed about
corner
our team
people
so much is
I can't corner people as a setter if I'm also trying to deal with portals, right? Like managing marches and having return marches and things of that nature gets complicated if I'm also worried about having to hit portals, deal with that kind of thing. So those mechanics get, magnitudes more difficult when you're also trying to rally portals and things of that nature, which we have to sometimes, obviously, but that's part of the communication. If something gets out of hand and we're not able to corner them and things get complicated and we can't pin someone down, then it becomes critical that the smaller players are active and doing their part. So sorry, Snow, I cut you off.
Can I throw
sorry,
in a point real quick?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to what Easy was talking about when he was talking about the builds for BOC. I think it's a super important base that our leadership encourages the smaller players that are non-coiners to start with defense. Make a defensive keep first. Don't worry about how many points you get, how many attacks you can do. None of that stuff. Make it so you can stand an attack and survive and still be a part of the team and the effort. And Easy has been instrumental in helping us all, build our base defensive keeps, and it really, really allows you to relax on the battlefield, think about what you're trying to do, and get to a point where you can, excel and grow and all of that. And I just wanted to say thank you to Easy and to Besa for that guidance, because it's so critical.
You're very much welcome. Snow, please speak.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the things that I really enjoy about our battlefields, and I'm kind of sad, I know that I think he's in the audience, is we actually have Pun, who runs our Portal Guardians. And he's the building guy, and he knows that he's the building guy, and he loves the buildings. And just having him manage that while the rally team does what the rally team is doing, where the building team is, flipping the buildings, letting us know, hey, we need help flipping something. And it lets one of the Hive people know, I need to divert my attention to this portal, or I need to divert my attention here, while still allowing the setter and the other joiners to do what they need to do. I really enjoy that about our battlefields, because sometimes you go into battlefields and you just kind of feel so stretched thin, because your attention has to be everywhere sometimes. And I really enjoy, and the fact that we tell people and we welcome everyone onto battlefields, like I said, I think makes the huge difference, because everybody knows that they do have a role, that it's not just about sitting in our hive and killing everybody. We've had battlefields where it's come down to the Portal Guardians did their damn job, and they did it well, which allowed the rally team to do their job. Without our portal team, I don't know where we'd be sometimes.
Yep. I really appreciate not having to worry about that kind of stuff. And I'm going to throw on a side note, if you have the capability of doing Battlefield on a PC, it's way easier. You can set, I use timers. I have the clock up on my PC all the time. It's setting timers for my buffs, setting timers for mine, setting timers for different things. From, once you get the timer set, off you go. I get an alarm, divert my attention, move on to the next one, that kind of thing. So, personal side note.
I see a lot of questions here about the hive layout and the time it takes and why the effort. Well, we have a regular hive layout outside in our server, and we do have a battlefield hive layout, and we do put the effort in it. Most of our team usually commits to come, so sometimes there are holes in the layout, but why is it worth it? For two things. One, the castles with buffs can be mostly enjoyed by everyone. The buffs are given by a radius. And also, it's easy to remember where and who we reinforce. And we do have reinforcement plans for people. So it's really worth the effort. I hope that answered the question. Another person asked, what do you think about T4 Siege? Well, I think all of our enemies should build a shit ton of them. Please go ahead, build a lot of T4 Siege.
Do it.
It works. It magically works. As long as you have 2 billion of it. As long as you have 2 billion.
You need 2 billion T4 Siege. Come on.
Any less than that, it's iffy.
It won't work. You need to get to 2 billion. Then it starts working. Yes.
Yeah. And you can switch out from the horse flats into the siege flats, please.
Yes.
I hope you guys are picking up on the sarcasm.
It is sarcasm. Okay, question for those who have. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
For those who have executed successful mergers or had a large percentage of another alliance join, were there key components or actions that helped it succeed long term? we've had both successful and not so successful mergers on our server. To be honest, Urushiol of 1204, you're spot on, to be honest. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can only trust that it will work and act as if it will work. Because if you get into a merger or whatever you call it, people joined you, situation with suspicion, and you start, witch hunting or looking at over everyone's, actions or basically micromanaging people, that's the stuff that gets you into more trouble and, manic kind of silliness where you're like, did they do this? Did they meant to do this? What is the underlying reason for this? Or, you fucking lose your sleep over this, stuff like that. So we take every merger with the trust that it will work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Since the war, we've become a lot wiser. So the things that we've built, like, as we say, we don't give R5. We make sure that whoever gets R4 understands that to get R4, you're part of the team doing something for everyone else. So R4 in Uno means you're actually helping somehow with something in the team. It's not just because you're awesome and good looking or have a good voice like Grinch. It's you're doing something to help. So that's, I guess, from our point of view. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, they just go from the alliance. That's it. Hive maps. Okay.
Maybe it's worth talking about what that is, right? Like, what are the different jobs we have in the alliance? Because we have a lot. Like, it's pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. We have a list of everyone and every event and who is leading that event, so that they can name and shame people for not participating in the event. For example, how Easy or Grinch are horrible at participating in the, what is that fucking thing that the 5,200 points, Nini? Is it the Alliance competition?
Alliance competition. Yeah, I'm terrible.
Yeah,
I can't.
I know. You're being named and shamed frequently. We know. But and so we have basically a person for what? Sorry.
I think she's shaming Grinch. Yeah, Grinch, you need to do better. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Stop lacking.
My focus is elsewhere.
I know. Don't worry. But so basically, we are organized. We have people responsible for each event. We have people responsible within Battlefield for different aspects of the Battlefield. So generally, we try to utilize everyone, just because otherwise the game is fucking boring if one person does the whole thing for you.
Not boring. It's fucking impossible. There's so many shit to take care of. We need all the help you can get.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoop was asking about presets. Hey, Whoop. Well, I will tell you mine. I have obviously the 4 ones. Then I have Small Siege. And we do ask our people to have a Small Siege, not only preset, but specific generals. I am very proud of our Small Siege preset because in our small siege marches, because we ask people to flat refine the generals. So I think our enemies know our small siege is pretty deadly. So I'm happy about that. And besides the 5 now, we have a reinforcement preset. I do have a reinforcement preset with 6 pairs of reinforcement generals and 1 preset with layers. That's mine. Hope that answers your question. I think people here have similar strategies.
Yeah, mine is. I have the, what is it? The 4 or 5. What is it? The standard 4 plus the small siege. My last one is the reinforcing march, which is I like to use a mixed reinforcement march so that I don't need secondary marches for what I do, right? And so I use a mixed preset for reinforcements. So when I'm reinforcing, I'm not having to think about which group it is. And if I need something specific, I can send the main PvP march or something of that nature. And then, I keep layers 1. I use for sure in like all stars or somewhere where I'm going to get hit. If I'm not going to get hit, then I can use that for another reinforcement march or something like that. Or if I'm playing around with like a T13 siege, so like if it's small BOG where like I'm expecting to face a lot of smaller players and not have a big rally hive, then I'll maybe set up a T13 siege reset, just fuck around.
And as a smaller player, I have the horses, the archers, the ground, the big siege, small siege, and then I have what I call my it's my healing layers march, but it also is just set up on my preset with my reinforcement generals. So if nothing else, I'm just sending pure layers from my healing preset as reinforcements because every troop counts. I think most people underestimate that every troop in a reinforcement counts because it's just another turn that the enemy's troops get hung up on. So for those smaller players who might not have as many presets, you can have a healing layers preset, set it up with your reinforcement generals, and you're still good to go. You can adjust it on the fly if you need to.
I have my name's Pun.
Damn, did I kill that?
I'm the Portal Guardian, and I just set up my presets, one for each type of troop that I need, like archers, mounted, that kind of thing. And I just followed the guide and that the Alliance has put forward, and it works out great. Circling back to everybody having their job, in Uno, as a Portal Guardian, what I have to do is I have to obviously figure out what map we're using, and then assign each player their portal. Make sure they're doing their job. Make sure they're guarding their portal. If they can't guard their portal, then figure out why they can't guard their portal. And then also one of the little sub jobs that we've been taking on recently is any smaller keeps that are hovering the hive. We whisper the location to one of our bigs, and then that big can then go and do what that big does. So that's my 2 cents. And if you have any questions regarding low coin keeps and how I keep up with these big players, well then I don't know, Vimo me some money and we can talk.
Okay. Thanks, Pun. Okay, more questions. Let's get back to the list, Bezo.
Yeah, I've been reading. Yeah, speaking of spot, you guys are. Yeah, no. Okay, I think we've kind of answered the ones that I'm looking. So you probably were skipping. Trying to plan.
Somebody's asking about layers again. Joke.
Well, I don't know. We've never really tried every possible iteration, but what we have tried, somebody asking layers, is for archers, horses, ground, and reinforcements. I do 10k, but before I had the 7.5 million march, I was doing probably 2k. I never really did 1k. I was doing 1k in the early days. I then moved to 2k when I started seeing some reports where some of the layers were dead. So I said, okay, maybe I need to fix that. So that was the first point. The second point is for most of the alliance, we ask for 2k, except from Siege. For Siege, it's tricky. You can do 1k, you can do sometimes no tiers, no layers. It's tricky. But most of us choose 1k for Siege and 2k for everything else, or to keep things simple, 1k for everything or 2k for everything. I do still do 10k, but that's because at the same time, I know it's rare, but whenever I'm being rallied, it also helps me, heal specific marches plus have tiers in my keep.
Yeah, and I guess it's a nice point to. We should also use bigger layers because we don't have that many troops. We are not an alliance where we have, one or two, three people that are 60 billion and everyone else is 10 to 5 billion. We try to grow, and this is one of the points that Anya wanted us to talk about. Thanks, dear. We try to grow together. So we get proper fuck Ebony with their matching making. Okay. Proper matches, and we try to do the best we can to make sure that happens. Yeah, we do not we could grow, have a lot more troops, but we try not to. We try to keep everyone well growth and balanced, and to that point it helps having bigger layers, so you save some of your high tier troopers for more rallies. We try to grow together, lateral growth. That's our strategy usually.
I think it's a balance of how many marches you want to have available to you versus how many times you want to heal bullets, right? If you have a lot of heals, it's one thing, but if you just want to stay in the game and have, enough troops to repeat attack so that you're not having to heal as much, that's also a component of it. I don't think you need much more than 20-25 billion as a big keep. As long as you have enough heals to heal bullets or layers and things of that nature, outside of the final steps of All Stars, different math.
Yeah.
People want to talk about lateral growth. I repeat, somebody wants to talk about lateral growth and F2P support.
Yeah, I think that's just what we were talking about. We don't want to grow. We want everyone to grow at the same pace and having good buffs to support to support the troops they have. So that's the strategy we've been trying to do. Me, Bezo, Grinch, Burns, we could be 50 billion if you want, but that would be really bad for the alliance. So we try to get buffs high and help everyone grow. And then when we can support, we build more troops. And it has helped us really great so far because we really don't have whales or very big coiners, and we have been doing really good so far in the championship, as we told here before, right? Two times seventh place, one time third place, and six in this last one. And this ties us into another question for that Whoop asked us, what were the areas, of improvement, of what was the takeaway from last challenge? The takeaway from last challenge is everyone is getting good. We better work harder. C5 is getting really competitive, and that's the main takeaway. And we need to focus on getting better in the areas we lack.
I think players are getting smarter, right? And maybe that's what you mean by better, but their gameplay has changed to some extent, right? Where people are getting smart about when they go defensive. Our mistake, I think, is we went too aggressive. We lost a lot of points on attack where we were just firing, and not sitting back and waiting. I've played with Whoop. I know he does that very well. And there's a point where you just have to sort of take your time and be smarter about it, and not just go through a full cycle because you think you've got the guy and you maybe didn't. And then a lot of the alliances we lost to were playing a more defensive game, which kind of defeats the whole hammer approach, right? So
we should be less trigger happy. We love killing people. That's why I would try to yell less at you to kill people. Don't worry.
I think it's not only the growth, as you say, which is right, but also the know-how is the big point. So it allowed everyone in the alliance have access to this incredible know-how. We have been mostly Bezo and Easy and Grinch, etc. And many have been contributing to this and spreading it, and that helped people to get their wings and to build better, not only of quantity but of really good advice about the buffs and about everything. And that is also the lateral growth, I think, which is very considerable. We have it been seen in one of the teams we have been meeting in the last BOCs. They had super big keeps, but their build was nothing, and in an hour they were dead.
Yeah, I love them as our enemies, not in our team.
Yeah.
Did see a question fly by about how do we select who's going for Red Wings or who are we pushing for All Stars? I don't know that we touched on that, did we?
No,
We
we
haven't.
have.
That's what I was going to touch on too.
Yeah, it's
So,
getting
Easy, do you want to
harder
talk
and
about that
harder.
as the
Yeah.
person who's going for the Red Wings this season?
Yeah.
How do you want to, how was that selection made?
Well, we sorry, Snow, you are in that position this season because it's really hard to get Red Wings this one because the bar went up really high for this one. But
Easy. We can say how we've done it, and honestly, there's no
Yeah.
shame to say we have not missed a single season without getting Red Wings, right?
yeah, no,
And
not a single
Oh,
one.
no pressure, Beso. Thanks.
no,
No
no,
pressure.
but I'll tell you what. Having that kind of track record means that you're going to eventually run out of options. And so what we have been doing before, I don't think is relevant for the future. For the future, I think what we have to do is we have to work with the people that they're closer to explain to them how they can do it cost effectively as well, because it's one way to do it, by getting hammered completely and, in a way being losing the battle. And it's a different way to do it the way we've been doing it, which is the team still wins and the person still gets wings. And so far the selection process was pretty easy because everyone that was ready for wings was kind of ready for wings. Either too ready, in my case back then, or pretty obviously ready, like how it was with Boo and Ini.
I
I
think
think it's also
the main
I think it's a keep development thing for me.
Yeah.
The way I look at it.
that's
I mean,
what it's about.
there's people that are at a point where they need Red Wings to proceed, right? And if they're not ready, we can talk about that. But I mean, if there's a keep that is in transition, for as an example, right? It's in that spot where the players moved up and got another keep or whatever it might be, but that keep needs the Red Wings, we'll do that, right? And we'll have someone drive that keep and get it into position, and we'll all make sure that that keep gets buildings. And if there's an opportunity to solo, we let them solo, right? Like I don't need the points, and like other people have Red Wings, and so we don't need always to be on top of the ranking. Like I don't care what place I come in when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, and to be honest, I think we treat keep development in a really serious way in here, mostly because we try to get people not to spend money pointlessly. So there is people like not gonna say who, but they can say who they are later if they can join the call or whatever. That they've spent next to nothing, and they have pretty solid keeps, and they have gotten wings, really positive wings. For example, we had one of the latest guys that I'm quite proud of because he was in a different alliance. He was having access 2 or 3 million top tier horses because they didn't know what to do with them, and still got wings with 1.5 billion positive points, net positive points, while a K35 and at 800 million or 700 million power. 2 years after he joined the server, which for about 1 year and 8 months, he was just fooling around, not knowing what they're doing. We really take pride of our guide, I can say that. But beyond that, people ask questions, and we do encourage people to ask questions. But what sometimes we do is, when I have time, I actually scout people and I start asking them questions about their, their world generals, or I see a report, and even though they were actually just peacocking about the report, I was actually looking at the report to see, whether they did something wrong or whether they did something, that they could be improved, and then I would ask, can you show me that general that you attacked with? Can I see the buffs? Can I see the gear? Can I see what the refines and all of that stuff? So we do that a lot.
Yeah, you were talking. The people are telling, how can 800 million players get red wing? No, like Bezos switched it to talk about regular wings, but yeah, I think that the main point about the red wings is
Oh yes.
summarizing everything that everyone said so far is that we push people for red wings that are ready for them, that we feel at that moment in time are ready for them, and we help them. We have a plan in the battlefield so that person can take all the buildings and or most of the buildings, and that person do the solos when we find them, and that person always have full bullets for every rally. And someone also asked me, why do I have layers since you're fucking 25 billion power? Why do you have a layers march? Well, because when I have enough points in battlefield, I don't need to be the first in the ranking, so those points should go to the rest of the team. And I started, when I'm safely have the points I need, I started joining rallies with only layers so they can have my buffs or whatever. And the persons that don't have the points start having more points too. So that answered that other
Well,
question.
there's the moment also, even as a big keep towards the end of the match, where you're strong, right? Like I'll get down to 10 billion. Now the other team's also shrunk, but if someone decides to heal, I need to be able to at least put my layers back in order, right? So if I don't need that preset, then I'd rather just be able to stay in the game and not get zeroed. And that way, if I'm healing bullets, for example, I'm still able to fire off and set and do the things I need to do in my job and not worry about being completely zeroed. So it just depends on the situation. And obviously, when you get to finals and all stars, and anybody could be zeroed, right? So there's that.
Can you guys talk about a little bit about the one-on-one mentoring you do with people, and just in regular building, or preparing players for those Red Wings and having those conversations, asking if they're ready, and what you do for that one-on-one mentoring with them? 'Cause I think that's something that I've found in
I think
1096, and even within that's
look,
it's unique. I
Snow.
haven't come across that. I've been across 8 servers now.
No, I will pull an Uno reverse, and I will actually ask you to tell to people, because I think we did this with you in just, what was it, a month and a half ago?
Hmm. Well, on which keep is
On
the,
the
the better question at that point.
yeah, on the
Um,
other way. I know. Well, to be honest, the two recent ones was you and was Nini and Boo, and they're both here. So
mhm.
they can actually say from their perspective, what did we do? How did we work with them on the Red Wings and before the Red Wings and coming up to the Red Wings?
I mean, it's like Grinch said, it's a matter of, are you ready? And there's a standard that Uno has that says, okay, you need to have X, Y, and Z. And, Izam and Beso worked with me personally to say, okay, you need to make sure that you have these layers and these presets and this healing, and it's a list of things that are given to a player to say, hey, this is what you're going to need to go for Red Wings when you're there, and when we think you're ready. A multitude of things go into that, how you perform in Battlefield, everything. Then, like last season, I gained my Red Wings, and in my opinion, watching this season with Snow trying to do it, last season was a lot easier. Like the players have gotten a lot better that we're facing, so it's a lot harder. But Izam and Beso have spent the time and the effort in, you know, talking to people outside of our server. And someone had asked about YouTubers. We're all looking at YouTubers and seeing what their perspective is on the game. And then we're taking that and putting it into all of our players, whether they're free to play or corners or whatever they are, to improve their keep so that they can enjoy the experience just as much as everybody else does, if that helps.
Yeah, and the most expensive thing you can do in this game, in my opinion, is go for something like Red Wings and accomplishment and fail. Right? 'Cause then you're starting all over again. You've got to buy all the buffs, or you've got to buy all the heals or whatever it is. And so we give people that list not out of some sort of, self protection, but because we don't want someone to get into that and put all that stuff into it and then have to try to start all over again, right? It's horrible. And we want them whole and healthy for the next round. So it's important
Yep.
that people are ready to go, because, not everybody can coin, and if you're not ready and you go into it and you fail, I mean, that's going to set you back 6 months, a year, maybe, depending on how you play, right? But nobody wants that. I don't want that for my teammates. So
Nini gave a good answer. I don't have to add anything. Also because I fight until the last horse in battlefields. I cannot stop. So for me, it was a little different. I found myself at the end that I had more points than I expected, and I voiced that I would go for it, and then the team was behind me. That was how it happened, actually. So it wasn't really planned.
Yeah,
and we don't
yours
give
was
up.
a little different.
And we don't give up. Like, Snow's been having a rough round of this, right? But like, even the last match was not looking good, but then we figured out how to make it work, right? Like, you just got to keep
Yeah.
at it.
I
So,
think what
Yeah,
helped me get my Red Wings is the Lions. We faced them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Never give up.
And I will just say for anybody listening, if you don't have somebody on your server that you can talk to about this game, like make sure you're connecting with people on Discord, because being within Uno and having access to all these great players and having that one-on-one, ability to say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing with I don't know what my next step is. What is my next step supposed to be? I'm feeling a little locked right now. And having, that leadership to say, well, we have a guide for this. Let's go over the guide and see where are you, what your next step is going to be, has just been so integral. And even moving from, some of the like being mentored and now mentoring other people has just been really incredible. And I've done that in 6 months now. Um, so I
Yeah,
think that
so
mentorship
proud.
that we
So
we
proud.
offer. I'm sitting there telling people, it's like, no, your next step is this. Like you've maxed out all your research. Okay, well now you need to push your next building. Like, we chase buffs, we don't chase troops. I think Anya and I have that saying that we say all the time: chase buffs, don't chase troops. So
Except
that's I've
one.
been working with people, except for Team
Except
One,
one.
until you max those out.
It's
Yeah.
crazy because I never thought that I would be one to give anybody advice, but then I've
Oh, come
worked
on,
with
Nini. You're
but
great. Don't
I've
say
worked
that.
with
Uh,
you and Beso, and everybody has helped me. And yes, my husband actually plays the game as well, and he works with Isom and Beso on our. We
Yeah,
have our
we need
own
to
little
do
guide.
a whole episode about how can you play and be so happy with your husband. And yeah, that deserves a whole event. Okay, we should do that in the future.
We work it out. But I mean, having the guide there, we have our own guide that we give all of our players, and they're able to see that. Gotta walk away. They're able to see that, and then they can ask questions. And there's so many people. I mean, yeah, you've got Izam and Beso, but we're all learning it. So now Snow and myself and others are able to step up and help where it's not just Izam, Beso, Grinch, Burns, those people. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
What Nini is
it
saying is
does.
true. But I'm trying to get my wings right now, and for SVS, and education is awesome. Everybody is so helpful. Right now, I've been playing for almost a little bit over 2 years, and it's amazing how much I've grown since joining Uno. Right now, I just fine tuning my refines and everything, and it's like, is this okay? And it's like, well, you got to fix this, and maybe a little bit more push on this, and oh, you need a little bit more on this, but it's getting there, and it's everybody's so helpful. So, and Nini's was correct, and so Snow. Snow is by far a really good encyclopedia when it comes to certain things. Like yesterday, we were having a conversation about debuff generals, which is, I didn't know that, and Snow's like just stepping in and just it's like, well, we'll see about that. We'll look into that. For better debuffs for smaller keeps. Bezo, Captain, he's the absolute mastermind when it comes to refines. Absolutely.
I think I will actually use your pronunciation of Bezo from now on. How did you say it?
Bezo.
Right. Yep. That's where I will go with.
But I think it was
I personally go Captain
that she has.
Oh, you weren't on the call before. Oh, you don't know what happened. Okay, there's a guy called Whoopbork. He's the setter in the Chalons winning alliance in our continent who didn't know how you pronounce my game name, which is actually my surname almost. And he basically called me Biso, but I actually like the one you just said more now. So sorry, Whoop.
And I see the.
Hey, at least it's not the translation. Yeah, the editing translation.
Before I lose too many more people due to time, we do have some keeps available on the server right now. If anybody's interested.
Yeah, somebody's asking if we're recruiting. So good intro.
Yeah, we are. Yes.
Yeah, we have a variety. I think is the safe way to put it.
Yes, we are always looking for.
How many do we have?
Players go.
Yeah. How many do we have?
I don't know.
We have two big keeps.
Players come and players go, right? And that's just the reality of these types of games. And going back to why and how we decide on who gets red wings and that and developing keeps, it's because of that, right? Like you never know when someone's just like, I can't do this for health reasons. I just need to focus on my family, whatever it is, right? Like that's why we try to develop laterally so that when there is a change and we have, we're bringing people in, they've got something solid, right? Like we look at it from a big picture perspective. Like I'm not in the keep I started with. Nini's playing my old keep, right? I've had keeps before that, and it's just a matter of, making sure that we're the best we can be as an alliance, and then making sure that any keep that comes available is solid, and people stepping in are in a good footing, and then they can play the way they want to play. Everybody coins differently. I'm actually not a massive coiner. Right, I'm just very smart and particular about the things that I put my money on, and that changes the face of the keep I'm working on it at that point in time. And then when I transition, I want to give my keep to somebody who's smart, good, dedicated, and when they walk in, they're not like, "What the fuck was this guy doing?" That kind of thing. So I'm not a good salesperson, so apologize for the picky.
It's okay, man.
Yeah, so did we have any more questions that we didn't touch on? I haven't been great at tracking the questions this go around.
Let me take a look here.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been responding a little bit manually, just because there's so many.
Yeah.
Because
And
we also have a
I
couple
don't.
more topics to cover, right?
Well, looking at
And
the what Anya asked us, I think we covered
I think
most of.
somebody asked a while back about All Stars. So last season we had 12 or 13 players in All Stars altogether in
Yeah,
every
and
yeah,
single league.
was 7 in
Um,
majors, right? 7 in majors
right.
and five or six in the other. This
Elite.
one's gonna be a little harder, but we should be able
Yeah.
to get 6 or 7 again, hopefully. What else do I see here?
I just
Uh,
want I just want my dragon.
yeah,
So
we all do. Is getting pink wings in C5 pretty much that means purple wings, right? A function of money.
yeah.
I think getting purple wings is a function of money in all continents. Always. There's no way to get that without a
I don't think
fucking beast of
I
a
don't think
keep.
any of
Yeah.
us have even tried to do it yet. I
Well,
haven't
No,
we
done
but
are
it.
we are
we
in a
can.
point
We,
where we
we
should. Yeah, we are able to do it now.
yeah, we
Yes,
can. Yeah. Me the two keeps Bernstone and Besso that we can.
they are able to. If we use
I
our Red Wings strategy during BOG, we can get one Purple Wings for each season going forward, I think.
I finished at something like 20K below, and we weren't trying.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
trying. Exactly.
I
Okay,
think it's
people
better
are
than
asking
actually.
about access to our guide and if we can help them with their keeps. Okay, you can have access to our guide. Join Uno. There are keeps available. How did that sound, Mitch? Did I do okay?
That was good.
Okay.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know if
First of
these
all,
two are the sales
we
guys.
don't publish anything publicly generally, just
No, no,
because
we don't.
it's just too complicated to deal with Google Sheets and things of that nature and access and people messing around, and then like we have to pay attention to permissions and blah blah blah. It's not that we're not generous and I don't mind sharing what I do, but like just dealing with permissions on things like that are just too much. It's not worth it, frankly.
Yeah.
So
People are asking about
So that,
our small siege guide, okay, or recommendation on general gear. That's in the guide in Uno
yeah.
2. There's two people asking about something we covered. Is how do we have achieved server unity and how do we consolidate alliances? Well, we covered that, but basically we try not to go the we try not to react. We always try to talk to everyone in the server and explain to them what we are trying to do, and explain to them that if they want to get serious about the game, they can join our alliance. And if they don't want to get to join, they want to grow, we help them grow even when they are not in our alliance. We do give guidance not only to our own alliance, but to guys in our server, because as Bezo pointed out, that's a good pool to recruit from, the people that we are stuck with, right? We try to help them,
uh,
and that
yeah,
helps a whole
So it looks
bunch.
like
and I'll give you the Grinch perspective on this one. Like I always use the term benevolent dictatorship, right? Like there's always a strong alliance on the server, and there's always going to have to be someone who maintains the peace, who acts as the marshal. But if you do
Yes.
that in a way where you're trying to keep the peace and grow the server, that changes your approach, right? Like, yes, I could zero almost anybody on the server other than our own players. That doesn't interest me, right? Like, I'm more interested in making sure that on a day by day basis, things are running smoothly, right? I'm trying to grow, they're trying to grow. Like, it's not for me to decide how much money they should spend or how much time they need to spend in the game, that kind of thing. There needs to be, repercussions if somebody decides to break the rules. And we've made that very clear. Like, I was probably the first person to start making moves before we went into war, and it was mainly to make people understand that things are brewing. Like, you're starting to mess with the flow, the piece of the server. I didn't do anything like burn anybody, but like they knew I was around. And so at some point, there just needs to be the fact remains that if nobody's willing to take up that job and make sure that the server is peaceful and there's no repercussions for breaking the rules, you're going to have problems. But if you're that team and you're that big, the benevolence is important, right? Like my mainstay is I'm always trying to do what's best for the server, period. Even if I don't want to. My personality doesn't necessarily dictate that I want to help other people. The reason I'm called Grinch. But like at the end of this, at the end of the day, like I know that what's best is what's best for the server, and I can play within that, right? This is why I mentioned I like KE, but like nobody else does. Fine, but I think that's important. I like that term benevolent dictatorship. This is not, we use democracy and we use this, voting all the time. But when somebody steps out of line to the point where they don't care about how everybody else is playing the game, then there needs to be some sort of pushback. That's my Grinch 2 cents.
Oh. Well, I think we've got Rush up on stage right now. I think Rush had a few questions for us.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
If they want to unmute. Hi, Rush.
So I'm with server 1204 on C6. So it's interesting because you guys have a tendency, you consolidate, and it sounds like a lot of the servers use teams that are a little bit more stable. We do a lot of player movement on my server. We've got 2 players in our alliance who aren't usually there right now for Red Wings and top 400. We had in the last All-Stars qualifiers, we had the distinction of getting 11 players into All-Stars, which was a C6 record. But what we're finding, as far as alliance consolidation, like our most powerful alliance is maxed out on size. So the other players are divided either between a couple of other big ones or into some really small alliances that we've tried to get them to visit us or to to do like a trial, just say, hey, come for 2 weeks, spend an SVS with us, see what you think, or you can learn some things and take it back to your small alliance. One of the two of the biggest things I'd like to see is one is we get a lot of contention with use of like iScout and rally bots, because people argue about monsters. But it's, honestly, it's better to have 50 people all getting loot from one monster than it is to have 2 people getting loot from one monster from the same monster. But the other thing is, have any of you had any success with trying to get, say, the alts, all of the really small alts or the farm alts, all into one consolidated alliance? Because then those alts could all throw each other helps, and we could set them up with a dedicated rally, a dedicated rally account, so that they could do better growth. And that kind of leads into, like you said, the smaller players are potential recruits, but as far as lateral growth on the server, you touched on it a little bit, but what do you do with your free-to-play or your more casual players? Like, they may be small and good at portal duty, for instance, but they're not ever going to be like a giant rally joiner.
I will leave this one with Easy, although I know the answers.
No, go ahead, man, please.
To be honest with you, even though nobody asked for that, we have actually put a lot of the people that we brought into Uno that we wanted to invest behind. We have helped them with. We've helped them with either putting them on our automated process. Let's call it that way. Yes. And we've also helped them with either growing their own secondary accounts or whatever you want to call that. And at the same time, we have also some secondary alliances that they can do the same thing, and they are 24/7 doing. The bosses that we don't really rally, or we rally them, but we rally them at a really low priority. And there has been people that they have been joining them to try to grow, and then if we saw a player, we would grab them. But there's also these other players that play it completely recreationally, and they find that type of automated process it's not something they want to do. For those people, we haven't really found a solution. So it's either through time and they see their results that we have, they've either joined us or they've decided to be against us, which is fine. It's a phone on somebody's it's an app on somebody's phone. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Having said that, what we found that works the best is that we don't promise stuff. We basically show people the results. We show them what other people do, that they're in the same category, mostly free to play. I mean, we have people here that they're almost completely free to play, even on the call. And we just give them the example and we say, look, I know that you don't like speaking to Grinch or Beso or Izom because you see us as your enemies, but you can speak to that person. They came from your alliance some time ago. You can ask their perspective. I mean, and they don't even have to lie. It's going to be on a private message. We will never know. And that's what happens usually lately with what we've been doing. We've been trying to bring people in. We've been trying to not promise, but just help. And then whoever got help, we are making them an example to other people so that we can attract more people.
Yes.
Did that answer the question?
That answer your question?
Thank you. That helped.
Yeah, and we went to a phase like you were talking about where we had people visiting over, trying to play SVS with us, BOC with us to try to consolidate and help everyone. We in the beginning of C5, which is, I guess, like C6 must be right now, you could swap alliances to try to get red wings, although that does not work anymore. But yeah, we went through that phase. But once we became a really competitive team and started going hard at championship and all stars, those kinds of strategies didn't work anymore. So we had to adapt, and we are pretty good at that. And we can adapt very well to. That's another. Besides being fun, and I guess everyone here maybe saw a little bit of our personality today from Uno. This is important for me, at least, to say we play the game, we take it serious, but we really like to have fun. And I'm grateful that it shows in a talk like this where we play around with each other and joke with each other. And this is really good. This is part of who our team are. We take things very seriously, we do, but we do have fun. We faffle around in SVS a lot, and I yell at people to come and rally, and I yell at people during Battlefield to kill our enemies, and we have a lot of fun doing that. And we have built a pretty happy and beautiful family here, and we are recruiting. Did you like that one too, Grinch?
Well, I'm going to say that the certain people will always be against automated systems, right? That never stopped. And it's hard for those people to understand how much work goes into those systems. It takes a lot
Not
of
easy
time.
to get 47K points in pens, but we do it.
It takes up a lot of my time. It takes up a lot of everybody's time. The benefit to the server, to the alliance is well, I guess it's measurable, but you know what I mean. It's immense.
Yeah.
And I think the key element is we're always willing to take people in, right? Like it's not like there's a wall out. If you want to have a part of it, come join, right? It's not.
We are open. We open our doors to people that want to take the game seriously, and to the other people that want to grow in our server and don't want to be part of our alliance. We open our secondary alliance doors too, and the rallies in our secondary alliance can net you 40 billion total RSS per month. That's the monsters we don't kill. That's better than anyone else can do in the server, and we open that opportunity to players in our server too. So,
and there's been times where, when asked nicely, I'm happy to help other players get that kind of stuff set up, even though it's competition. Like, again, it's about the server growing, right? Like, I don't do it forever. I can't. Like, there's limitations to what can and cannot be done on a system like that. But if someone's trying to start a new alliance or do something and they've asked, then I'm happy to help them. Right? Like it doesn't take that much effort. But there'll always be people that take the stance that shouldn't be done. I don't understand it because I've been playing games for a long time, and I've always seen the game as the big picture and not just the EULA, like the rules when it comes to that kind of thing. yeah. So I think it's a combination of making sure people know that they can be a part of it, and that you're happy to help them. So
So,
So we have a
something
question
we
from
didn't
Sierra.
something
Go
we
ahead,
didn't touch
Nina. You had something
on.
to add?
Yeah, just for the new servers, because I know the person that was just talking had mentioned it. We also have a Discord for the whole entire server that we communicate through to everybody. So it's not like a dictatorship where we say, "Oh, you can't do this." We talk about it. We work it out with the whole server. So that helps as
Yeah,
well.
like Nini's saying, if so, we put it to the vote for SVS. If any other alliance wants to challenge the throne, then they can tell Uno, because we are the biggest alliance, that they want to do that, and we'll be like, all right, or you're crazy, but sure. And of
That
course,
is true.
also touching back, one of the things that I think that makes Uno different from a lot of other alliances, not that I've been in a lot of other alliances, is the fact that if you want to be a social player, then be a social player. If you want to be a PvP player, then be a PvP player. We've got there is a spot for everyone, and everyone's welcome. And even the leadership makes everyone feel welcome and gives everyone guidance. Even if they wanted to say fully awaken a Robin Hood, we'd advise that our leadership would advise against it. But if you're dead set for doing it, then they're going to show you the best way on how to achieve that. And I'm just also going to say that not all bigs in our alliance are the rally guys. We've got some FTP rally people. I'm not one of them. And I can tell everybody this without hesitation. I tried being part of the rally team, and it's boring. To me, it's just boring. I'd much rather prefer hop around the board, taking portals and making sure that my players have my rally team has the best opportunity to squash those bugs on the other team. And one way for me to feel productive in doing that is taking away all their port chances. If they can't port, if they have no portals and they have 0 port chances, they can't move. That makes them easy pickings for the rally squad.
He hates it,
And
and we
I
appreciate that pun.
I have a question I have a question for everybody out there. We've been thinking about the portal team running their own rallies on portals that have been filled up with more troops than like one person can handle. Has anybody ever done that? Anyway, just a question out there. There's still about 100 people on the chat, so if anybody's ever done that kind of thing, I'd be curious.
Maybe Whoop can tell us how he handled ports.
That's what I was thinking too.
So we do have a question
I don't
from
think.
Sierra.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go.
Like it was, what do you guys think about
Question from
players
Sear.
that believe that
What do you think of players that believes they have the
they have
best
all the best
ideas and best
leadership,
leadership, but it's clear they're leading their entire group into a
disaster? So should they continue to run their own alliance or be points pinatas in SVS, or do we have an intervention? And thank you, Sierra, for taking that away because I was going to scream.
I clicked on it. I don't know if I took it away or what the fuck I did, but I clicked on it accidentally.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that question, or do you need me to repeat it?
Please, because I was basically trying to think, what the fuck did I just do?
So, Sierra was asking, what do you think of players that believe that they have all the ideas and best leadership, but it's clear that they're leading their entire group into disaster? Example, they suggest layers are bad. Should they continue to run their own alliance and be points pinatas in SVS, or do we run interventions?
Sierra, we had actually that type of person in our alliance. It was our previous R5. There is a few of you that know him. Caesar, or whatever your name is pronounced, actually. Sorry if I butchered it. Knows him. But we did have somebody that, and I've told so many times how Uno has actually come to become an alliance after all the shit that we learned in the beginning. things like if you have a Japan sub-city, you need a Japan culture mayor for the buffs of the sub-city to work, or that your troops do die, so you need to feed them, or a lot of stuff that he was saying, or like posting and peacocking about defense one reports that basically the other person completely annihilated them, but 3 troops were left alive after that, and he was still happy about it. Anyway, that kind of stuff happened to us. Yes, we did have to have an intervention. We did have to have a talk with them. For people that they're much bigger and spend, you kind of go about a very mild, polite talking way, because you know that they can ruin your entire game for the rest of time. But for alliances that they're smaller and they want to have a voice on everything, you kind of do what I think we have been doing. You do give them voice, but you outvote them, and we make sure that we keep the right balance that they actually do need, not the one they want. And we hope that, as some of them have already seen the benefits of the balance that we have proposed and we have implemented, we kind of hope that the rest of them will see the difference. Those smaller alliances here, I know that you're coming from a really old server, so you're probably much more divided in bigger alliances. But we are now at the 290 billion, and the second one is 40. So we, as you can see, we've kind of achieved a point where smaller ones don't really impact too much the gameplay.
Yeah, and about they becoming points pinado in SVS. Okay, as I said, we just FAFO in SVS a lot. So if we go lower in rankings, more FAFO to do.
Yeah, and I think that's also something we do have. I think we spoke on it earlier. We have some serial splatters, on our server, and I don't think we stress about it too much, because as a team, we're coming out, even if we're not individually points positive, as a team we're coming out points positive, and we're carrying the SVS for the most part. I think Pun touched on it. If anybody else said, "Hey, I want to go mess with Throne," we'd tell them, "Have fun. You're insane, but have fun." So I don't think we make a big deal out of it. We try to keep stress out of the game, which is so important.
Yes,
we're here for fun.
The only time we care about points is if we set a goal, right? Like if people want to splat, they splat. But like the only time I've ever seen us get agitated by it is if we were trying to take, if there was some sort of point goal that we were trying to achieve. Otherwise, they're just, messing up their own game, right? Like, so.
Yep. Going back to any questions, does anyone see any question available, or do we have any other topics?
I just invited Jake to come up. He wants to come talk, although I don't know, that might be dangerous now that I let him here.
Hi,
Jake. I wasn't talking crap about you.
I've actually attended a couple of his calls. He's a cool guy.
Oh, I know he is. I just like teasing him.
Oh, he joined and then left. Yeah, probably he doesn't know how to just join. He probably needs to own the call.
Oh, he's having audio issues.
I was going to give him shit about stage fright, but
let me invite him back.
He's having audio issues. There you
go. Are you with us again?
No, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, he's back.
He is now. Yeah. Hey, Jake.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello.
Oh, good. Oh, good, brother. And you?
Doing good. So I had a question about All Stars. I thought I saw that mentioned in your list of topics.
Yeah.
So, assuming a lot of your people from your team make All Stars, what are some preparations that your team will do in the week leading up? Like defense or anything like that, like debuffs or
saving healing speed.
Let's do it.
You mean for the rest? hold on, to clarify, you mean for the rest of the team or for that player or both?
For the group of players that have made All Stars, what are some like little improvements you'll do for your keep before All Stars?
So the people that actually made All Stars, most of them are in a group that we have on Telegram, and but also they are definitely on our Discord. I know that as one of those passionate ones, I like to pass the torch myself. So how I've been doing it is I've been actually explaining what they're going to encounter, how it's going to work, and what kind of the ins and outs of what I've experienced. For example, being in a bad team, you probably already want to save your speed ups in that battle because you're probably going to have to fight for a lot harder to get a lot more points if you want to get the dragon. I'm talking about majors now, right? So, or being in a good team, we're working with each other to figure out who has a good team, Jake. So we're looking at the teams each person has and talking with them and seeing and saying, okay, that person and this is a good setter, this is a bad setter. Your team is probably going to win. Remember that, so you don't you don't full heal or do stuff like that. You won't need it if the top 15 will qualify. So we kind of try to prep based on the team that they're in. In terms of the keep specific things, we only do one shift really, most of us, which is the we talk with the team that we're going to be in, and we ask them whether they need a specific set of marches, and then when they do that, some of the guys that we have that they've been there only once, they come back to us and they ask us, my group is saying that we're going to use this, that, and the other. How should I do it, guys? Or should I do it, guys? Is there something I should tell them? There was a a certain individual that said to Burnstone once to build a lot of T4 Siege. That costed Burnstone billions in RSS.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. That was a long time ago, though. So, certain people come and tell you to do things, and shit happens. That person also had 1 billion T4 Siege, by the way. So he didn't say it just to say it. He said it because he believed it. So anyway, and how we work with the team is basically we ensure that anyone that has any questions, about how the mechanics work or who gets to qualify and what kind of rewards are you fighting for if you're in the junior or elite, and try to inform them about what kind of effort they probably should do, because as I said, we are not a controlling alliance. Anyone can do whatever they want, really, in a way. Somebody in the last round wanted to go ham and get to the finals. They didn't need to, but they did it because they said, I want to vent and I want to do it and I want to see if I can do it. They did it, and they spent 80, 90k of healing speed ups. That hurt.
Oh wow!
I know,
sugar baby.
but it is what it is. It hurt, but they did it, and they now know how it works. So they can also pass the torch to the next person and say, "Hey, next person, I've done it. It wasn't worth it." Now with the Elder Dragon, things change a little bit, but they don't change a lot, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah, those are some good tips. Hopefully, some listeners can take those and implement them.
Thank you,
All right,
sir.
thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jake.
All right. We've been here for about 2 hours. Do we have any other points that we need to jump on? If you haven't caught on to the audience, we can talk as a team. We will jump on our Discord and just BS. We'll hop on and say, "Hey, I need advice," and we'll be like, "Okay, get on voice chat, share your screen, let's talk about this." And next thing you know, it's 4 hours later. We captured an enemy throne, and literally for 8 hours, never ran out of anything to talk about. On voice chat the entire time. So, are there any burning questions, any burning desires before we give you our leave?
Come join us. Join Uno.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yes. We have big kips
I'm-
and small kips available.
One day
Some-
I'm gonna convince Rez to join us. He feels enough for us. We should just be in
I've
Uno.
give up.
Right?
Res.
Fuck Rez.
Even
We
Wolf,
started it and
even
ended
to
Wolf
it
the
with
dark
did.
side.
fuck Rez.
Every-
Oh, Baby Bear
Thank you.
has a request that we all say spit it,
Spit it.
spit it.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Okay,
Let's
spit it,
go.
Oh, that's easy.
spit it, spit it, spit it, spit
That's
it.
my war call. That's my war call. Let's go.
Yeah, the easy is let's go.
But I
That's
think
how I know during SBS. That's when I jump in.
I think I say spit it, but Grinch says push it.
Push it. Yes.
He does.
I don't know what Burnstone says, but I think Grinch says push it.
I like to push it.
Yeah, there you go.
Guys,
Yeah.
Well
So
Hung Brewery is asking if someone can help him schedule with him to look at his keep. Maybe help him out.
who is
Okay.
it? Oh, sorry.
Well Hung Brewery.
Jerry.
Why do I remember that name? We may have faced him in.
Because
I know
I
that.
think
I know
we
that
may
name.
have zeroed him 3 times in Chalons. Possibly, maybe. He
Oh,
full healed
okay.
for us twice.
I think the answer is probably yes. We just need, a scout report or something.
Yes.
I remember that name though.
Ah.
I know I played him.
Yeah.
It was Chalons. He full healed for us twice. Well, not for us, but he full healed twice, and we got excited really excited twice.
Yeah, that was recently. That was within the last few weeks, I think.
That was in the last Chalons round. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Chalons are
Well,
beautiful.
well, he said he excites people. We were very excited. We ran across you and we're like, "Oh, he full healed. Let's go. Let's easy. Let's go. Big siege, small
Let's
siege.
go.
Doing the full thing."
We also loved his name immediately.
Yeah, I think when we see somebody full heal in Chalons, it's like showing water to somebody in the desert.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think this is gonna wrap us up. Just like I said, we've been here for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to, it's not Uno specific, but C5 we have our keep and sip every other Sunday. So on non-SVS weekends, which I open it up and we all hang out and talk about our keeps. Or I think last time we talked about Star Trek for a couple of hours. So if anybody has any questions, I can't guarantee Uno will be there besides myself, but come hang out with us at Keep and Sip. The event is here on C5.
Nice. I would like also to thank Anya for organizing this. Thank you again. You're great, Anya. I'm really happy we have you. And thanks for everyone for being here and listening to us. Hope you guys had fun like we did. And I would like to tell again that I'm really proud of you guys. I love our team. Thank you for helping us do this.